You're listening to the Flip Houses Like a Girl podcast, where we educate, empower, and celebrate everyday women who are facing their fears, juggling family and business, embracing their awesomeness, and wholeheartedly chasing their dream of flipping houses. Each episode delivers honest to goodness tools, tips, and strategies you can implement today to get closer to your first or next successful house flip. Here's your spiky-haired, breakfast taco-loving host, house flipping coach, Debbie DeBeery.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today. So we are going to have a conversation with one of our Flip sisters, Kristin, who is in Eugene, Oregon, and she's going to tell us all about her first flip. We love these, right? I love sharing stories of everyday women out there doing the thing. It's so inspiring to me. And it's so inspiring to see somebody chase after what it is they want, or say they want to go do something and then see them actually go do it. And I love that it's like-minded, like-hearted women out there doing the thing. It's so inspiring. Thank you, Kristin, for sharing your story with us. All right, you don't want to miss this. She's going to tell you all about how she found the deal, financed it, what the numbers were, what the issues were that came up, and then she's going to drop some golden nuggets of wisdom on us. So stick around. All right, let's talk to Kristin. All right, so how about you introduce yourself, let us know where you are, and just a little bit of background about you.
Okay. My name is Kristin Allen. I live in Eugene, Oregon. And prior to this, I was a yoga teacher. We had moved here just 6 months before COVID hit. So I found, and I in my previous life, I had opened a yoga studio, which was a complete remodel. I flipped an office space and turned it into a yoga studio. And then it was awesome. And then I moved here and luckily found a couple of yoga positions. And when COVID hit, I switched to online and, made like a fourth of what I was making. My husband was told, be ready for pay cuts because the whole company is going to get pay cuts. And so we had already taken a pay cut to move here. And then we were facing COVID with basically I had a loss of income because I burned out quickly on the online thing.
Oh, it's so different. It's so different, especially doing something like yoga. Like that's such a connection, energy, space kind of thing.
Exactly. So anyway, we sold my pretty car because it still had a car payment on it. And then all of a sudden, like everybody else in the world, I had tons of time with everybody around me. I'd always had this dream of flipping houses since, honestly, the dream kind of comes from my mom because we moved like every 2 years.
Me too.
Yeah. So you're really good at adapting.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. It was awful in the moment, but yeah, as an adult, I'm very adaptable.
Exactly. And I look forward to new places. Like I have continued this as an adult. Like I move and I'm trying to settle down.
Oh my gosh. I'm the same way. I rarely hear that. I usually hear the opposite. Like I hate change. I hate moving. I love it so much.
I love it.
That's so fun. I'm so glad to know that about you.
Yeah. So my mom she's an artist and every time we moved, she would make the best of the situation. And I always had a beautiful room. We usually had a beautiful house. And I didn't even know that was a blessing until I got a little older and started going to other people's houses. And I was like, how come, you don't have lacy sheets? And like, how come you don't have a color coded room? Like, I don't get it, So, and we always would go, like, whenever there was an open house, if we were on our way back from a soccer game or something, we would go to the open house and it was like so exciting. What's going to be in this house? And sometimes you'd find this beautiful home where like everything's set up and your imagination's just popping. Like wow, it must be like this to live here. What a great life. And then sometimes I remember this one house we went to in Los Angeles. We lived in RTV for a while, and it was huge. It was a mansion. So we knew we were just looking, not for thinking we live in it. And I was so excited to see inside this house. This must be glorious inside. And it was a monstrosity. It was gaudy. Like everything spoke to wealth without any, there was no sense of love. There was no sense. And I literally got a stomachache. I literally left, and my little 8-year-old body was like ill. Like, how could somebody do that with all that gift? How could they create all that just for themselves?
Yeah.
And it's not even nice.
Yeah. I love that your little 8-year-old body was totally rejecting it. It's like, no, this isn't right. Yeah, this doesn't feel right at all. Right. That's so funny. Like yes, my mom made me go to open houses all the time. Like, that's what we did. We went to open houses every weekend. We all, like, she always had the books, you know, the magazines with all the listings everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yes. I love those things.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And then she had she was super into interior design, but she wasn't really like, she just did it for herself. Like, she just did it for us, like the interior decorating and stuff. And so she had her little interior design license so she could get discounts at the little, like the suppliers and stuff. It's so funny.
That's so cool.
Oh my gosh. We had such similar upbringing. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that now I have this, like, I realize now that it's a gift, and I realize it comes from her, and we share this together. Even now we still talk about, she's actually flipping a house of her own right now. And so when we talk, it's like, how are your cabinets? How's the electrician? You know, all this stuff that other people would be like, this is so boring.
That's so cool. Okay. So you've had this in you. I hear it. Like, this is in your blood. It's been in your blood.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So you guys are going through a hard time, and you decide, all right, I'm just going to go do this and see what happens.
Well, so I'm an HGTV junkie, like probably almost everybody in the group. And I've been watching for 10 years, at least, if not 20. And so all of a sudden I have all this time, and I would sit there, like, while my whole family's working, right? My husband's upstairs working, the kids are doing school, and I'm just sitting downstairs in my room watching HGTV and, like, literally crying at the end of the show, like literally going, oh my God, that's so amazing. I want to do that so bad. And then one day I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you literally live in a 1970s house that needs to be completely fixed up, and you're crying over shows.
Right.
Like, get up. And I didn't know how to start. And so I just started weeding, and then I painted the outside of the house, and then I demoed part of the kitchen. And then I found money to remodel a bathroom. And somewhere around there, when I was feeling just massive irritation, like, I need to make money doing this because I'm spending money. I'm really good at spending the money, right? I'm like, how can I make money? And then I found your class, and I thought, and I found it on Facebook. And I wanted to just say go right off the bat, but I was like, no, don't. You have to think about it. I thought about it for half an hour, and I was like, I need to do this. Like, I can't make any more excuses. I'm on it.
I love it. And you jumped in.
And I jumped in, and it was overwhelming, all the information, and just incredible.
Yeah.
And so I was in overwhelm for a long time, just studying.
Yeah, we try to minimize that as much as possible, right? Like, we give you a little bit of information here and there, and people are like, no, I want it all. And I'm like, no, you don't want it all.
No.
Trust us.
No. Yeah. And I was really glad that you told us to do the LLC and get the bank set up, because I wouldn't have done all that.
Right.
And it's still, like, with those things done, when I got the house, it was like, there were still so many other things that I had to do that if I hadn't done that, I don't know if I could have handled it all.
Right. I know. Yeah. I know. And that's the thing. That's one of the big things, like, that people question. Are you sure I need to do this first? Yes, because you can't jump if you don't have these things. Like, it's you have to have them. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about your first flip. I think it's sold in April.
Yes, it hit. I went on the market April 17th and 18th and had 3 offers in a few days. And
yeah. Oh my gosh. That the before and afters on that house, like we get a lot of comments on it. Like,
yeah.
just the before and afters. Like, I love it. Okay. So let's talk about the details on that. How did you find the deal? And then how did you finance it?
Okay. So I found it in a very unique way, very unique and unusual. I found it through the group, as you know, and somebody in the group had posted is there anybody in the group who lives in Oregon? My uncle passed. We don't want to deal with the house. We can't deal with it. Up for grabs, basically, somebody in the group. And I had just gotten on Facebook and I was like, really? Like, I had been chasing deals left and right all over town and showing up to properties, and there's like 5 people there already. And so I wrote, yeah, I'm here. That's only an hour away. And I kind of expected some elbows to be thrown, like from other people in Oregon, like, no, I was here before you. No, nobody competed. The family who was going through this at the time, they didn't offer the house to the general public. They could have made it like cutthroat and tried to make as much money. And they were the most generous, kind people. And even the other women from Oregon in the group, one of them in particular, Chris Piercy, she emailed me like, how can I help you? I'm like, what? Are you for real? Like, you're not mad at me? Like,
Yeah.
It was absolutely a gift. It was a complete gift. And yet it came on the heels of this wonderful family losing somebody that they love. So,
Yeah. There is another side. Yeah. It's not just what's happening on our side. Yeah.
Right.
There are things happening on the other side that we have to be mindful of. And I think that's like when I talk about we need to be different, we can do better, we can speak to people and like have empathy and compassion about what they're going through instead of just making it about the transaction. We've got to make it about the people. And I feel like, and I say this often, but gosh, I hope it's true. I feel like as time continues to go by, it will be more and more important that we are focusing on people and what they're going through and just showing up to serve. And if it works out for everyone, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like we did, it's like one of those, you did your best. Like you served them the best you could. And sometimes we aren't the answer. Sometimes we're not the answer.
Right.
So I appreciate that you were sensitive to that and just present to the fact that this is a great opportunity and like this awful thing had to happen and these beautiful people are going through this terrible thing.
Right.
It's hard. Yeah. It's so hard. Okay. So you went, you looked at it and that day you were like, okay.
She told me she was going to be in town like the next day. And so I actually went out and met the whole family in the house. They were all there cleaning up. And I'm just amazed that they allowed me to be there in the first place, So yeah, I checked it out and then went home, made an offer. She made it very clear she wasn't taking offers from anybody else. Even their realtor said to me, I don't know why they're doing this for you. And I'm like, I don't either.
Oh, they had a realtor there.
They had a realtor not there, but I connected with her because I thought it would be better on their finances if I just used their realtor instead of bringing my own.
Gotcha.
And she said to me, I don't know why, and I'm like, hey, I don't either.
I know, right? There's some reason, right? Like,
some reason.
Okay. So you went under contract. What was the purchase price?
Oh, right. 200,000.
200 flat. Okay. And then when you initially walked through and prepared the offer, what did you come back with as your repair estimate?
I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't have a general contractor with me. And so I estimated 60,000.
Okay.
And I was told that the comps in the area were 350. I mean, I could see the comps in the area were 350. I believed that they could be more, but that was the reasonable comp at the time.
Sure. Yep. Got it. Okay. So 60K initially, what did that end up being?
It ended up being 74, 75. And some of it was truly like my decision. Like I decided to put in those enormous windows in the front. Like that was a design decision.
Right.
And it cost an extra like $1,500.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard when you have this shell that you start doing things to, and you look over and you're like, well, now that doesn't look as great as it could if we just did this. So then it's like, let me just spend a little bit more.
I know. I want to do all the things.
I do too. I do too. That's why I like doing those kind, that all the things get to get done. Okay. So ended up being 74. And then what was your timeline on the renovation piece?
Okay. This is funny because I was just telling people for forever now that I did it in 7 weeks. And like, I don't know where I got that number from because it was 11. So I've been like bragging to people. Oh, I got it done in 7 weeks. I did not get it done in 7 weeks. I got it done in 11, which is still fine.
Love that you're calling yourself out.
It feels like 7. It feels like you're just working so hard for such a short, it's just so intense.
Did you do a lot of the work yourself?
I mean, I was painting from beginning to end. I was just constantly painting. My family, we all demoed. Which was awesome because I have 2 girls, 16 and 12, and they have been watching shows with me forever. And we all went in there like we're the boss, like we know.
That's so cool. I love it. I love it. I can totally see like this Charlie's Angels theme song of you guys walking in with sledgehammers.
We got this. Yeah. So mostly just painting and demo, and then I cleaned up a lot after contractors, and then I was the general.
Gotcha. Yep.
Which I didn't really realize I was doing, but that's how it worked out.
Okay. I don't remember seeing many complaints about any of your subs. Was that pretty smooth, the people you worked with, or were you just handling it?
So I interviewed a lot of people. I looked on Home Advisor. So on Home Advisor, they already have to have a referral.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'd even call additional referrals to vet them out. So I worked really hard in that initial 2 weeks, just calling and interviewing. And then I ended up hiring 6 different teams of people. And some of them were great. Some of them, no. And you learn so much about is this a time to gripe, or is this a time for me to be patient because they're almost done? Do I need to bring this up again, or do I need to accept they're not going to change, and I just need to wait? This will pass, So there was that always that's always happening.
That is such a great point. That's such a constant battle.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes, that one's constant. Okay. So you vetted them. Some were great. Some you'd use again. Some you wouldn't, which is fine.
Yeah.
Eliminating people is just as important as, adding them to our list. Okay. So 11 weeks, you hired out most of the work except for the demo and the paint. Okay. So initially your ARV was 350. What did you guys come on the market at?
Well, I did something that actually everybody says not to do. I went on the market high on purpose, and at 370, and the house was open on Saturday. I didn't want it to hit until Friday. And the reason I did that is because the market was nuts. And I didn't want, if I put it at 350, I didn't want to sift through 25 offers at 350, right? I feel sensitive to all those people who walk in and see themselves there and fall in love, and then they don't even have a chance, right?
Honestly, I hate multiple offers. I hate them. I
I hate it. It's like,
it's awful.
You feel like you're playing God, and you're not God.
Right.
So by pricing it high, I eliminated the chance of having all those offers. And then we still had 3 offers, and they all were asking price, and they all said, we will escalate. I was like, are you kidding me? Would somebody just throw their heart over and like go for it? Like, don't make me do this.
Oh, wow. All 3 had escalation clauses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
But one of them was like, I will go up to 386. And then the others were like, I'll go, anyway, it ended up 386, and then it didn't appraise. It appraised at 385. So no big deal. $1,000 at the end. What I wanted was the offer to say, despite, no matter what the appraisal comes back at, we will pay this much. And nobody was doing that at that time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was April you listed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So 385, because the appraiser couldn't find $1,000 more to add on. That's just silly, but okay. How did you finance the purchase price in the renovations?
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. We used 401k. We found, first of all, I wanted to say that my husband was not on board, right? I think we've talked about this. He is a strong, stable, consistent, risk-averse person.
Yep.
And I'm creative, entrepreneur, risk taker.
Of course y'all are married.
Yeah.
Of course. The yin and the yang. I love it.
And I've wanted to do this forever. And for years it was like, okay, I won't do it because he hates the idea. He hates it. And then at this point in our lives, like I'm 48 and I'm just like, I'm feeling the clock ticking. Like I don't have time to wait. And I really laid it on. Like I'm always telling him the numbers. I'm always saying, I know I can make money off of this. I know I can do this. And I finally had to say, this isn't about the numbers. This is about me.
Dang, man. My entire body just like zinged. It was like, wow. That makes me teary. That's very moving.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I'm going to cry. How am I going to launch? I'm like, honey, who's going to want to invest in me if we don't invest in me, right? Like we're not investing in a house. We're investing in me. And if I can get on my feet, then I can support us too. But as long as we're, running away and not willing to show up, then I can't engage. I can't do this thing. So It was literally like 2 weeks of like, I'm not sure if we're going to be married anymore, because he was just trying to break down the walls in his body. And I was just like, I'm not giving in this time. I cannot give in. So we learned from that. We didn't even know that we could take a 401k loan out, like without, we could take it out and then we can put it back and then we can take it out. We had no idea.
Wow.
And instead of paying someone else interest, we pay our own self interest.
It's your money. Yeah. Yeah. It's your money sitting there doing nothing really. I mean, it's doing a little bit, but yeah.
So it was so empowering when we finally started moving forward. Like, oh my gosh, we have more money than we thought. Yeah. We can actually use it.
Yes.
And so we did 50 from 401k, and then we had a personal line of credit. I had to have extra money in the account for my hard money lender to see that we had money to work with, right? And that was really important.
Sure. All right. So you used hard money for the purchase and renovation. You used some 401k money. We understand how it was financed.
Mm-hmm.
The only number we're waiting for.
Oh, wait, the profit.
The profit.
Yeah. 65.
What did your husband have to say about that?
Okay. Well, so my husband's fears were waylaid. Is that the right word? Like as soon as I start doing it, like when I opened my yoga studio, he was also afraid. And then
that's right. You've been through this, right?
Yeah, but this was a larger scale. But sure, it's like once he sees how hard I work, he's like, oh, like she's got this. And then when it came profit time, of course, we're all just like, what?
Right. Wait, what just happened? Wait, what? Wow.
Yeah.
When did you buy the house? When did you close on the purchase?
Oh, January 28th.
Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome. So 5 months?
Yeah.
5 months.
From
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's hard. I feel like it's hard to be like celebrating that I'm projecting. So whatever my profit is, I'm always like, it was like, I just kind of want to say it under my breath and let's keep going. Because it's like, because then it comes back to, right, this other beautiful family had to go through this terrible thing. And now here we are, and we are like trying to celebrate and also honor and do all these things. And it's really hard to be like, it's just so hard to do all of that. Yep. But I think the fact that you are present to that and mindful of it means you're doing it, right? Like it means you're doing it. The fact that you would even acknowledge that.
I hope so. I thought about the former owner a lot when I was in the house. And sometimes I thought I felt his energy, and I felt like what I felt from him was a sense of joy and delight. Like he was thrilled that I was doing it. He was like, I could even hear this laugh. And I don't know if it was real or if it was just my imagination.
Oh, I
could feel. And I kept in touch with the family, and they were watching the flip on my Facebook page. And I think there was some, she told me there was some healing there because he had been concerned about the house not being, in a good shape. And so it was for them to see it, go through the transformation. I think there was some healing there. And then ultimately, I feel like there's no way I can repay these people. Like I can't, right? But I did donate, and I think I'm going to do this with every flip. I donated 10% of my net to nonprofits, and I asked them what they wanted, and we basically, they chose the Oregon State Foundation for Cardiovascular Health for conducting more research, because he did pass from heart failure.
Yeah.
So that felt good.
Yes.
But it's, it doesn't fix.
Yeah.
It doesn't bring him back or anything.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Sure. But it honors them, and it honors what they went through, and it honors like all of that. Yeah. I love that. I also do the 10% donation to organizations. And it's just like, it helps with that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just made this profit. It helps with that, because then I'm like, but that means I get to give that much more.
Exactly. Yeah.
It means I can make a bigger impact and do more good. Yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. That is really fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
First one done. First one's the hardest one. It's ripping off that Band-Aid, proving to yourself that you can do it. And you totally did that. Did you, I'm telling you, the before and afters of this house is just, especially like the exterior alone. Did you do all the design stuff, or did you have help with that?
No, I did all the design, and I was really worried about the facade. I thought the inside, I knew the inside would transform, but the outside, when I first looked at it, I'm like, I do not know how to dress this baby up. And it just bloomed before my eyes, just changing, adding the siding and then the windows and then the paint. And I was in love with it when I was done. I was like, my whole family was like, let's just move in here.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously, that's always a good sign. That's always a good sign. That the exterior, and I remember when we talked, you were like, I don't know what to do with this front entry. And then something about a back patio, maybe something.
I was thinking
and I was
about
like,
it.
And so when I saw the before and after photos, I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I get why you were struggling. I don't know that I would have come up with those solutions. Like, you did such an amazing job. You really did. Like, I'm super impressed. I'm super impressed.
Thank you.
It's just, it's a stunning transformation. It really is.
Thank you. So
You're welcome.
This is the part that I love of the job, is the design. I want to be the boss of that. But it's also where my ego was just so big, like before the house, like throughout the whole thing, I was so worried that it wasn't going to be pretty enough. Like I wasn't going to make it beautiful. And I had to talk myself down and like say, Kristin, like, this is not a beauty pageant where there's a bunch of houses walking down and people holding up pens. Like,
oh God.
This is not that. Like, you're making a home, like, step down. You know, I had to constantly get my ego to settle down because I was so worried that it wasn't going to be special.
Wow. I mean, it 100% is special. It 100% is. I'm not sure that I've seen an exterior transformation that was that like much of a transformation by not doing much. Like, you did things, but it's not like you rearranged all these things.
Mm-mm.
You didn't do much. And that's what is so like, wow about it. It's like, wow, like changing the size of the windows and doing like whatever you did. Like, and then the little, is it an arbor that you put up at the front door?
Yeah, we put up a cute little arbor, cedar wood. Yeah.
It was just awesome. It was really awesome. Okay. What were some of the surprises that came up? Were there some repair surprises or?
Yeah, there were. I mean, so the plumbing was really challenging, and I had used a plumber before because I'd done a reno in my own home. And so I knew he was good. And yet the day that he was finally able to get in, he had sprained his ankle, and he was this really, really big guy, like really big guy. And he had to get underneath the house. So he had his journeyman going down and doing the work while he talked to him above. And they worked on it for 2 to 3 days. And then he leaves, and the inspector comes out the next day and says to me that, like, I don't even know what that is under the house. Like, that is so far from passing. And like, my first thought was like, I've got like a brilliant artist on my hands. Like, this kid was like coloring way outside the lines, you know? And I was really nervous to call my plumber because I believed in him. And like, this is what I do. Like, I interview the people, and then I believe in them. And I thought, how could somebody who's been doing this for so long fail? So like, maybe I was wrong. And then I tripped out for like 2 minutes, and I was like, stop it. Just text him. I texted him, or no, I called him. And like within a second, he's like, I'll call the inspector. We'll get up there right now. And there were literally like 4 enormous trucks in front of the house that whole day. It was like the 911 of plumbing. And they worked on it till like midnight and fixed the whole thing. So that's like, work with people who you believe in, because they will come through, even if everybody messes up. Everybody messes up. And one thing I learned through this process, and I've been learning my whole life, and it's so hard to remember it when you're in it. Mm-hmm. There's no place for blame, but there are only problems and solutions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get off the blame boat and get into, okay, what do we do?
Yes, that's huge. The problems are always going to be there. Like, they just are. There's always going to be something to solve, something to figure out, which is one of the reasons why I love this so much. I love the puzzles. I love all of that. But it's also equally frustrating.
Yes.
So it's like, but I love that it's a really important thing you said that I want people to get, because so many times as beginners or as women, we're like, oh gosh, I hope this person chooses to work with me. Versus no, I am choosing this person. And like you said, I'm putting my belief in them. Like, I'm not just choosing them. I'm totally believing them. Like, I'm their biggest fan now. Like, that's how we need to choose to work with people, because it is about relationships, and it's about having those people that you do believe in, that you can call, and they send 4 vehicles and spend the entire day fixing the problem.
They're not going to leave you hanging. Good people will not leave you hanging. If you get somebody who's substandard, you run into a problem and they suddenly are in Tahiti.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Or I didn't do it. Yeah. I didn't do it. That wasn't me. That was their fault. It's on them.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge. Work with people you believe in. I love that. Yes. I love that quote so much. Like, yeah, it's so simple and it means so much. Like, that means a lot to me. Those words mean a lot to me. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Did you learn anything new about yourself throughout this? Like, you've started a yoga business. You've done that, right? You've started a business. What's the big deal starting another one?
Yeah. Oh, so big, so different. There's 3 things when I was looking at that question, I thought, I don't know. And then, oh my gosh, I had 3 false ideas about myself.
Ooh.
1, I'm not a hard worker was number 1. That is so not true. 2, I'm difficult to work with. Also completely not true. 3, I'm not detail oriented. If I'm difficult, it's because I'm so detail oriented that I'm like, whoa, let's not look over this thing here. Let's take, and one thing I want to speak to about the hard work, or kind of all of it, is, I've had a lot of jobs in my life, and I really struggled with sticking with them. And this is something my husband and I always went back and forth. He's just like, just go get a job. And it's like, I literally feel like I'm dying in those jobs. Like, I am dying. Like, this is so boring for me. And so when it looks like you're not a hard worker, it's probably that you're not working in something that interests you. And that's it. Like, stop the judgment, the bullshit about, oh, I'm not good enough because I don't fit in with the accountants. See, I'm not an accountant. If you put me in there with accountants, I will look really bad.
Well, I think that's a great point. I mean, of course. And it's like when we have, oftentimes you'll hear, this kid, he's, getting in a lot of trouble and he's just this troublemaker at school, when in fact, he's just not stimulated. Right. But he looks like he's lazy and he's a bad kid and he doesn't follow directions, when it's the entirely opposite that's true. Is that, no, we're failing him. We aren't stimulating him. Yeah.
Yes. And when I was in high school, I mean, I think people thought that I was dumb and, I didn't do well at all. It wasn't until I got into junior college, I had the hardest English professor. And the very first week we show up, there's like 40 people and it's like supposed to be 30. And he's like, okay, tonight I want you to write a 4-page essay. And then we all come back the next day. I want you to write a 5-page essay. He did this all week. And I'm like, hell yeah, like, I love this. Like, this is awesome, right? And yet by the end of the week, those 40, now we had 15. And he was like, now we can get to work.
Wow.
And he was so hard. And I realized, I love this. Like, I love this and I love to work hard at this. And it just blew my mind, because I thought I was lazy. I thought I wasn't very smart. I thought I was a crappy writer. And, and all of a sudden I had this new idea about myself, and it was beautiful and also hard to believe.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's huge. That's huge. Okay. I want to talk about, you mentioned about what makes you difficult. And that's because you are detail oriented. And that's because you do care about the presentation of things. Yeah.
I do.
Where do you think those stories came from? I understand the hard worker one. What about,
oh my gosh,
being difficult or not being detail oriented?
Well, not being detailed, that's definitely from being married to my husband, who's like radically detailed. And he's detailed in ways that I'm not. Like there's things I
gotcha.
just don't care about. I'm like, who cares, and he's so detailed about it. So if you put he and I next to each other in normal daily things, you would think, oh, he's the detailed one and she's not. And that's generally true. But you put me in my little world,
Right.
and all of a sudden I'm like boss lady details,
Again, wow. Again, it's all relative. Yes.
It's all relative. And then the difficult, I think that's just a childhood, like family thing. Like,
yep. Yeah. Had a feeling that might be where that one came from. Yeah. I get that. I totally get that. It's hard to get these from people. And so I love that you were able to be like, this is it. Because this is huge. You know how many people can relate to these 3 false ideas of themselves? Like, I think everybody has said at least one of these things.
For sure. And what I love about running your own business, whether it was being a yoga studio owner or this, is you get to see yourself. Now, if you're not ready to see your attributes and your flaws, don't do your own thing.
Right.
But when you do your own thing, there is nobody else to point to. Like if you're having a rough relationship, why do you have that? Either work it out or let it go.
Yep.
It's on you. It's not somebody else's fault. You can't keep blaming other people. Right. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too. Oh my gosh. Wow. This has been such a fun talk. I just it's been so great. And I love talking about this kind of like the inner workings. I could geek out on this.
Me too.
Oh my gosh. In high school and in college, like it was hard for me to like really connect with multiple people. Cause when I meet you, I'm like, okay, that's great. And like 5 minutes later, I'm like, let's go deeper. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And people are like,
can we move on?
Yeah. Like, no, let's like talk about the weather some more. And I'm like, no, I want to talk about what hurts. Like, what are your hurts on the inside? What are your owies? Let's talk about our owies and let's just heal each other.
And like, why do you believe these things? And
yes.
So I'm gonna throw some Brene Brown at you, who I know you adore also.
Love her.
I love her. And she says, and I used to read this quote in my yoga classes all the time, and I'm paraphrasing, it's something like, you don't want to fit in, you want to belong. And I try to teach that to my kids, like, no, don't change yourself to fit in, because you'll never feel safe. You'll never feel authentically yourself. Like, you want to go where people say, all of you, I love you, come on in, right? Yes. You want to belong. It's so much better.
Oh, it's huge. That's huge. I also talk to my son a lot about that. Like, he's such a quirky dude and he's such a fun, sweet guy. And like, I'm always like, you're so weird. And I'm so glad you're weird. Like, I love you. Like, be you, be weird. It's awesome. That's like, those are your people. Find those people where you can be your quirky self. Find those people. And who cares what everybody else thinks? That's so hard. Golly, that's so hard.
Harder.
Oh my gosh.
Harder, especially when the people who aren't weird look so good on the outside.
Oh,
They can really present like this picture that you're like, wow, that guy's got it all together.
Man, he's the man. He is the man. Oh my gosh, I have loved this so much, and I'm trying to be mindful of time. Do you have anything else you want to add before we go? This has been such a great talk.
This has been so fun.
Good.
I did have an issue with an electrician who mansplained to me. He came in, and I only had 2 weeks before open house. So, and he put 3 holes in the wall that shouldn't have been there, and was like, "Sorry, I don't usually make these mistakes, but my person just did this." And I'm like, "Oh, I have 2 weeks, and I don't have a drywaller at this point. Like, they moved on. I don't know how to get this done." And he stopped and said, "Well, see, that's the thing. You're not supposed to do it like this. You're supposed to have the and he goes through the list. He's like, first you do this, then you do this, then you do this."
Oh, wow.
And I'm standing there like, this guy's been in my house for 30 minutes and he's got 3 big ass holes in my, and I said, "Well, I don't know about that, but I do know that we have a problem that we need to solve right now. So call up your drywall guy and I'll call up mine." And I had believed in this guy, and then he was just an ass. Um, and it took him 3 different times coming back to do the work when he said it would take him once. And, and the last day that he was there, he said, I'm sorry. I couldn't believe it. He's like, hey, about that time when we had that misunderstanding. I was like, I didn't have a misunderstanding. You just told me what to do. I understood completely what you were doing. And he's like, I am sorry. I don't want to be like that. And he's like, I'm working so much. I'm working all the time. And he was. These contractors, they're literally like the heroes. Like they would come and work till 6, and then they'd go to somebody's house and finish a job they couldn't finish before till like 11, and then they'd get up and do it again.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. So I was glad I didn't like have a confrontation with him, because I initially thought this is a good guy, and yet he kept proving me wrong. And ultimately, he was a good guy who needed to realign. You know, he was doing way too much. So it was like there was a moment of grace that I was able to offer, which I'm not always able to do. And then that came back to me. And then ultimately, like that relationship is kind of okay. Like I could use that guy again.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a lot of space, like as a business owner, like you get to choose your response, and it doesn't have to be the knee jerk, well, you just messed up my walls.
Right.
Messed up my, it all works out.
Wow. What a lesson in, again, you don't know what the other person's going through, and like just trying to, and he wasn't letting you know, right? So he's just showing you this, I'm being a jerk and I'm a jerk and you're wrong. And
I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh, sister, I'm impressed with you. You were like able to just like, okay, like we'll see. And then he came. I'm impressed that he was able to drop his guard. That's huge.
I know. I was impressed. He could have just not. He could have just been polite from then on and like not come back to it.
Right.
It didn't sit well with him.
He did the hard thing.
So he did the hard thing.
Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. Wow. I love that. Yeah. That's a great little anecdote, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's, not everything has to be combative. And also stand your ground. Because it's not like you didn't stand your ground. You still stood your ground, and you were like, okay, well, what are we doing to solve it? Like,
right. Let's move on.
Right. I hear you, and I hear all these things you're saying. Well, what are we doing to actually solve it? Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Super. Like that's just really impressive.
There's so much, and that was an impressive moment, right? I had a moment. So I'm not telling you about all the moments where I was like bawling on the way into work, and like those are all the time. But like I had a moment of grace. Thank you, God, for giving that moment. But it pays off to give people a little space and to be easy on them, because they are probably working way too hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love this program. I love what you're doing. I love that you chose to create a community. I think that the fact that you were able to see that you couldn't support all these women by yourself was really mindful and forward thinking. And instead we are all leaning on each other and like, whoa.
The community is amazing. And honestly, like yes, I started it, but the women who are attracted to it, like we just continue to co-create it. And it's this amazing space that it's just, I can't put words to it. It's so much more. It's everything I wanted it to be. And it's so much more than I ever thought it would be. If that makes sense.
It keeps changing and developing, and it's just like awesome. Kind of out of your hands in a way.
That like sense of belonging is huge. Like that's a huge theme. Because that's not ever what I felt in the real estate investing space at all. Like it never, it's like I would walk into a meeting and it's like, record scratches. And I'm like, wait, where are my people? I don't see my people anywhere in here. But now I do. I have this room full of people I love. So awesome. Thanks for letting me be part of your journey.
Thank you for being a part of my journey and changing my life. Changed my life.
Well, I'm super honored to just get to be like this little guide, right, on your path. Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thanks for inviting me to share my story.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved talking
me too.
to you.
Super fun. It was so much fun. And that's it for now. I'll see you in the group.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Kristin. Bye.
Bye.
That was such a fun interview. And thank you, Kristin, for sharing some of your innards with me, some of the deeper level stuff. I think it's so important to have deeper conversations. Like, that's what moves people, right? That's what inspires people. That's when people feel connected. So thank you. Now, one of my favorite quotes, really, it was two different quotes in a section of the conversation. And it was when Kristin said to her husband, "This isn't about the numbers. This is about me." And then she went on to say, "Who's going to want to invest in me if we don't invest in me?" Even repeating it gives me chills. I got chills the first time she said those things, and now I'm getting chills again, just repeating it. It's so powerful. And I want you to think about that. Who's going to invest in you if you don't invest in you? Invest in yourself, whatever that means to you. Okay? And if that means joining our community where we help you every step of the way as you navigate your first flip or your 20th flip, whatever number you're on, if you want to have an entire community supporting you and cheering you on and encouraging you, then get on the wait list. Go to jointheflipsisters.com. Again, that's jointheflipsisters.com. All right? And then add your name to the list and we'll notify you when we've got a spot. All right. Go out there, flip houses like a girl, leave people and places better than you find them, and make it a great day. Bye, y'all.